Hello all, welcome to Faces and Places in Fashion. I know we have a lot of visitors today, including our alumni. Just as a note, we do have an alumni reception after this class, just directly downstairs. So after class, please come back and make sure that you have, spend some time networking. There's also some food and coffee and drinks and such, so we hope that you'll come and spend a little time with us afterwards. Quick reminders for the students, we're getting close to the end of the semester. I didn't quite get through all the papers in terms of grading, so I should have a huge stack of them next Monday, so get ready for all the returns next Monday. In terms of your question and answer preparations, your last one available will be next week, so if you haven't done those, you want to make sure you have one more chance next week to do that. I think that covers most of the announcements. So we're going to get right into our presentation today. I'm really excited to have some representatives from Threadvine with us today. I think most of you have probably heard that before, the name. Threadvine is a platform that connects buyers, sellers, and showrooms using a digital platform. And they'll speak to that today in their presentation. But I'm really excited to have our speakers. First is Jennifer Tyrone. She is an alumni here at the Fashion Institute of Technology. She is a FMM major, right? So graduated in FMM. And in addition, we also have, let me just make sure I get everybody's names correctly. We have Ross West, who's the founder of Threadvine with us, so we're thrilled to have you. Thank you so much. And also with us, Daniella Platt, who's also with Threadvine. So welcome, thank you so much for coming, and we'll invite you up to the stage.
Hi everyone. Oh, there's a light right on my... I'm Daniella Platt. I live in Los Angeles. My background is sales, marketing, and media, specifically for the fashion industry. I had been with the California Apparel News for about 10 years, managing all their sales. Before that, I was at some New York City ad agencies. About 6 months ago, while I was at the Apparel News, I was managing Threadvine and the parent company's account. About 6 months ago, they called me in and said, hey, do you want to help grow Threadvine on the West Coast? So I joined about 6 months ago to help grow the business and help brands adapt to the new changes in the industry.
Hello everyone, Jennifer Tyrone. As Josh mentioned, I'm FIT alum. I was in the FMM major and left FIT and I started an internship with Comar Brands. If some of you don't know, it's a billion-dollar lingerie and sleepwear company. I was there for about 5.5 years, selling to specialty stores, e-commerce stores, department stores, so a very strong background in sales. I spent a year as the buyer of the Town Shop on the Upper West Side, and I was actually one of the first Threadvine users. So I as well just joined about 6 months ago. I love the product so much, I decided I wanted to sell it.
All right. You can't get a better endorsement than that. I'm Ross West. This is actually the third software, there's a little echo on this. This is actually the third piece of software I've developed for this industry. The first was a long time ago, I'm old, and developed one of the early PC-based point-of-sale systems, got started in the industry that way, and then went on from there and created a showroom tool in the late 90s, and then Threadvine is our most recent product. Why don't you guys, want to sit down? So, I was actually up here a few years ago talking about Threadvine, and there's two ways to go in this industry when you build a new software product. One is to seek venture capital, and another is to be acquired by a larger company. We did the latter, and Threadvine is now part of computer-generated solutions, also known as the Blue Cherry product. Is anybody familiar with Blue Cherry or recognize CGS? A few of you. CGS is a large enterprise scale system provider, and a lot of clients that you would recognize, household names, and I'm just going to ask Daniella, will you remind me of some of, J Brand, and you've got a whole list.
Opening Ceremony.
Opening Ceremony is a client.
Urban Outfitters. Yep. Page Denim.
Phillips Van Heusen, Tommy Bahama, about 350 real household brand names in the apparel and footwear industry. So Threadvine is kind of a startup inside of this larger enterprise company. And we're just going to talk to you today about successful selling in the digital world. And you already know who all of us are. So let's just kind of go through the agenda. I want to talk a little bit about some of the challenges and what makes this industry complex. Jen will speak a little bit about how she sold back in the day, and then what we mean by digital selling and some of the adoption and benefits. And then there's kind of two ways to go in this industry, in this kind of emerging capability. One's a marketplace and the other are private sites. We're a private site, and we'll sort of talk about some of the pros and cons of those two different approaches, and then an actual demonstration of our products so you can really see what it's all about. So talking about challenges, I mean, a key one is just geography. You know, you may easily have product made, most likely have product made offshore. You're going to have sales reps around the country, maybe even around the world. If you're selling specialty stores, your buying is extremely diverse. You're going to be meeting at marketplaces, you know, at trade shows, market periods. You may not see your buyers as a salesperson. You may not see your buyers more than 2 or 3 times a year. You also have merchandise shipping to different locations. So again, geographically diverse. The other thing is, you know, a lot of times I hear, well, hey, how hard can it be? It's just entering an order on a website. Well, it's actually not that simple, because a retail order is a single style, usually in a single color and size, and it's to ship immediately at a specific price. Sometimes maybe it's 20% off on a promotion or something. But apparel, wholesale apparel, is sold usually by delivery, usually in assortments. The assortments overlap. You've got pre-season orders that are later going to get approved. You have a lot of complexity around it. Bulk orders versus at once, pricing tiers. A lot of times there's negotiated pricing within the line. You know, we have a client, for example, Amsala, which is a bridal company. Only certain dresses can be sold into certain geographies. You know, a lot of difficulty. Okay, so how were things done back in the day? Now, I'm maybe not quite Jen's age, quite twice her age, but I'm a lot older. I can tell you things were really, really backwards back in the late 80s, early 90s. But even more recently, it's what, 5-6 years ago, you were doing things by hand. And Jen, just maybe spend a few minutes talking about that.
Yeah, so, you know, I started Comar in 2008. So, I mean, it wasn't that long ago. The iPhone had already come out. Everyone had started text messaging. But as far as trying to sell to your buyers, you still face the same challenges. You know, there was, in the lingerie business, there was a show twice a year. You know, there's not a show every month, but there are deliveries every month. And, you know, especially with the challenges in the economy, buyers didn't want to travel as much, and they didn't want to open up their open-to-buy dollars so far in advance. Typically, you're booking 9 months out. You know, they wanted to buy more immediate, opportunistic buys. So, you know, you had paper catalogs, which is great. You can mail them out, but, you know, things change. You present a line, styles drop, things are added, and you need an easy, efficient way to clearly communicate this information to your buyers. And when I started there, you know, we would send out paper catalogs, or then we grew to CDs, but it was still the same challenge. You know, you can't get them the updates quickly and easily, and I would print out catalogs and take a spreadsheet, and I would write down, you know, small, 36 units, medium, 42 units, and handwrite on all of these catalogs, you know, the availability on Monday to send out to my buyers. And you couldn't email these files because they were too large. So selling 10 brands, you know, you would have to send, I don't know, 20 emails, you know, just to get these catalogs. And then, you know, you lose the color and, you know, all the details. So it was difficult. And a week later, it would be valid because, you know, you sold off some of that merchandise and the numbers changed. So I knew there had to be a better way of doing business, and you know, I started researching some of these options found out what competitors were using, and these kind of solutions were really kind of new to the marketplace at the time.
So I'll say I had a fortunate circumstance, and you're going to school, and I will tell you the friendships that you make here, the connections that you establish here are important. As you go through life and you go through your career, one of the people that I knew was a guy named Tony Pachenik. I had worked with him before. He was at this company, Comar Brands. I told him what I was up to. We barely had a product, but Comar Brands was interested. We did a demo, and they were not our first client, but they were one of our early clients. At that time, I think about a $500 or $600 million company started using a startup solution. And Jen, if you want to just speak really quickly about the sort of difference.
Yeah, so now there's solutions like Threadvine, and there's some others which we'll kind of talk about. But now you can send your buyer a catalog email where they can then click on the images and be directed to an online catalog, and they can really get the same order experience online buying for their store as you would get if you went to a Bloomingdale's or Nordstrom.com. It's updated, it integrates with the company's back-end ERP, so all the information is current, and the buyer's getting correct information, and they can see, product details. If you go to any of the trade shows, I don't know if you guys do, but walk around, you'll see now, everyone's using an iPad to take orders. It really eliminates a lot of the mistakes. Before you would have buyers faxing you through orders, and they were handwritten on loose leaf paper, and you might have a navy blue and a light blue, and they just write blue, and then you have to call them and track them down and find out what they want, and you email it to customer service, and there's all this back and forth, and it takes a lot of time, right? So this kind of eliminates that. The buyers are forced to order into the correct size bucket, the correct delivery dates, and order the correct colors. So it's just more productive, more efficient, and it really speeds the entire process.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's not really a big surprise that the adoption in the last couple of years has really taken off. A couple of factors about that. You go back 10 years ago, even 5 or 6 years ago, there wasn't the prevalence of technology in this industry, but that has really changed. I think part of it is younger people coming in, but a lot of it's just this stuff's easier to use. And as a developer, I can tell you it's a lot easier to build product, software product to run on these newer devices, especially the iPad app. We can kind of go through, you can read these statistics yourselves, but the thing that's interesting is that companies, no matter how they roll this out, whether it's a private solution or a public marketplace, are experiencing huge adoption from retailers. It's almost it is a competitive edge. It makes it much, much easier for reps to transact business. So the statistics are pretty compelling. I'm going to spend just a moment and talk about how we differ from some of the other solutions out there. Threadvine, I like to say, and I don't know how true it really is, but I think it is true. For example, Nicole Miller is one of our clients. I'm pretty sure the buyers of Nicole Miller don't really know that they're using Threadvine. They might, but it's branded Nicole Miller. When they're doing business with Nicole Miller, they're only looking at Nicole Miller's styles. They're only seeing alternative to those styles that are Nicole Miller's, and it's a private, secured site. And actually, within the site, without telling you all about Nicole Miller's business, they can control carefully the different channels of what buyers are looking at as far as the merchandise. That's different than a marketplace. A marketplace is more, I don't want to say it's like eBay, but it's a more lot of brands together. Now, the advantage of a marketplace, if you're a smaller brand, an aspiring brand that's looking for new business, you've got buyers coming on and they're seeing, brand X, and you have the opportunity to present yourself, well, hey, if you like brand X, you're going to like my brand as well. So if there's a denim brand on there that you're similar to, you have an opportunity to gain that buyer's attention to your denim brand. The benefit to the larger denim brand is, I'm not quite sure, but I think you can understand the real difference and why larger brands, more established brands with a large penetration of the marketplace will go for a private, secure type site that's their own. These are just some login pages of clients of ours. Vix, Frybu. We have a client that has a license for Harley Davidson. Comar's in the upper corner there. And I can tell you a little bit more about Threadvine. With Threadvine, I mean, there's a lot of different benefits, but I'll tell you the two that I hear the most: order status and availability, both real-time availability and order status for the salesperson and for the buyer, to have that confidence that the information is current and accurate and that they can do business in a real-time environment. These are logos of some of our clients, probably some that you would recognize up there. There's about 200 brands that do business on Threadvine. And I think we probably should stop talking about it and actually show you the product. So I'm going to let Jen drive. She's better at it than I am. I've done it too many times.
The direction.
This is actually the most complex part of the entire operation here.
Presentation.
Switching
Sorry.
over to a web page.
Okay, so this is one of our demo sites. We actually have quite a few. This is our general site. This is what we use for kind of our own internal marketing, kind of prospecting purposes. We have a footwear demo site, a ready-to-wear. So, you know, when we're working with our prospects and we're presenting demos to our clients, we try and brand it for them so they can really get the full experience of what it would be like to use Threadvine. All right, so when you log in, this is the main homepage, and the buyer has a similar view to this. So the idea is that you're creating catalogs or line sheets that might be your overall collection or specific targeted catalogs for your buyers. So you can feature catalogs here, and you know they'll be scrolling. So that's a way to direct your buyers to specific merchandise or your salesperson. And then on the side here, you have specific featured styles. So those might be bestsellers